Hello and welcome everyone to this options trading talk between Raghunath and me. This is the 26th edition of this options trading talk, and really how time flies. 26th edition means half a year. Half a year has passed since we started it, and feels nice that people are liking it and have improved their trading based on some of the uh, points which we have discussed in the talks. So coming straight to charts, which I usually do, uh, bullishness is still there. There is no change in the structure yet. But I keep visiting this VIX chart because the reason is in front of you. It has still not gone below 17. Neither has it crossed 24. In fact, recently there was something very strange which happened, which was on what was the date? I think it was, if I take a day chart, it was on 26th November when it went up all the way to very close to 24, the breakout level which I had talked about, and suddenly crashed 15% almost for no reason. I mean, there was no event after which it crashed or anything like that. Did you find out any reason why this happened, Raghunath?
Didn't find no, I didn't find any reason.
Yeah, because I mean, 15% crash on VIX without any event having taken place was a bit surprising to me.
Hmm.
So anyway, finally, from the upper side of the range, which I have been talking about, 17 to 24, it went again back all the way down to the lower side of the range, and but still above 17. So we need to keep an eye on that 17 level and 24 level. And I still suspect we might cross 24 sometime because this US election is still not going out of the way. It's, for some reason, it keeps coming back. Some news, as long as the new president doesn't take oath, doesn't take office. I think that is on 20th January. When is that?
Yes, yes.
20th January, yeah. So maybe till then it'll be quite interesting to observe.
Actually, by December 14, something or the other will happen because they have some kind of cutoff point by which they have to determine that
Yeah,
who will
right,
be
right.
the
Next,
president.
so basically, next couple of weeks we'll decide. So coming to charts, Nifty is still bullish and well above 13,000, and it made a high near 13,145 and now consolidating. Though we had a good dip on Wednesday, again a fast rise on Thursday and sideways on Friday. Now the double bottom sell as of now is at 12. I mean, if you calculate on a basis of the EOD chart, which is 0.1%, that is at 12,800, 12,850, but it is still above the moving average. The moving average is at 12,500. So even if it goes below 12,850, it will be a short term double bottom sell, but the bullishness will go away only below 12,500. So that has to be seen whether that pullback happens or not. In fact, everyone is waiting for a pullback to enter, and now it has gone so far above that the pullback is not coming. So I'm not sure where people can enter, and who knows, maybe that might be the euphoria which typically happens at the end of a leg. Because finally, whatever you may say, I mean, it is still bullish, but you need to be cautious after Nifty has risen all the way from 7,500 to 13,200. It's almost, I mean, 70-80% rise, and that is not something which is normal for something to happen like this in just 8 months. Bank Nifty also is consolidating. The double bottom sell now is below 29,100 and Bank Nifty is 29,600. Of course, the chart is still bullish, so any close below 29,000, the moving average is 28,600. So we'll have to watch out for that level if at all it goes down. The only first caution which I see from options data, options charts, which I typically look for, is something which I spotted on the 13,000 call and put of the monthly expiry. So this is a monthly 13,000 call of Nifty, which is at the money. And there was, if you look at the chart for the last couple of weeks, it has continuously made higher highs and higher lows, even on a point and figure chart. There was consolidation here. There were anchor columns again, and whenever it has made an anchor column, it has given a follow through in terms of a double top buy. Very rarely has it happened. In fact, I don't think it has happened at all that there has been an anchor column without any follow through. And this is the first time it has happened over here, where we have an anchor column of 18 boxes when it made a top near 13,145, and that has not yet seen a higher high. And then again, everyone knows there was a good decline on Wednesday, but a fast rise on Thursday. But it has not yet crossed the bearish, the high of the bearish anchor column, which is near 320 or so. So as long as this call is below, give it some buffer 330 or something like that. You need to be cautious on longs because in fact you can draw a 45-degree trend line. So the next double top buy will be interesting if it goes above 300 and of course finally above 330. So only then this bearish anchor column will be negated. Coming to the put, that is also showing something interesting. This is still early days, but you need to keep a watch out because these give good turning points. I had mentioned this put last time over here when I had said that there is still no bullishness on the put. And of course, there is still no bullishness, but for some reason, in spite of the rise in Nifty, this put has not yet gone below this low of 220 to 25, which it had made on 23rd November. And even after a week, it has made a higher low sort of. It can be a pattern retest if this gives a double top buy, which is above 283. So basically, you need to keep an eye on this 13,000 call and 13,000 put, and that will tell whether Nifty is likely to continue its bull run or likely to correct. So this 13,000 put will be very interesting going forward. In terms of stocks, I don't have too many stocks today because actually everything is bullish, so we'll have to look for continuation buys. But one sector which I'll be definitely looking this time is it had gone sideways for the last couple of months, which is Nifty Pharma. I have not picked any stock because, to be honest, even in the pharma space, I didn't find any options charts which are interesting. But this is the Nifty Pharma Index. So if this gives a double top buy and goes above the 45-degree trend line, which is near 12,000, so if which right now Nifty Pharma is at 11,840. So if it goes above 12,000, then you will have to do a relative strength analysis on the pharma stocks, whichever has led that rise. I might I think it might be Dr. Reddy because that actually what happened was in the last few days, some pharma stocks showed promise, but maybe because of expiry pressure, they again came down. But now, if they start rising, you need to keep an eye on pharma stocks because they have taken support at good levels. It is just a question of whether they will continue their sideways movement for the next month also, or they'll give a fresh breakout. So, pharma will be the sector which I'll be watching out for going forward because now it will be a new month. In fact, from Tuesday we have a new month. November has ended as far as the charts are concerned. So that's all. From in fact, even on in Bank Nifty, 29,000 monthly call. This is also something which has not given a follow through after the bullish anchor column under top, and has given a bearish anchor column on the Wednesday fast decline. So these levels are 1620 and 11,300, and even the 29,000 put. These are the monthly options. Here also, it has not gone below the bearish anchor column which it had made when Bank Nifty made a high. So here it is around 700. So 13,000 monthly call and put, 29,000 monthly call and put. I will be watching these four options very closely going forward. That's all from my side, Raghunath. I'll make you the presenter now.
Okay, thank you, AP. Okay, guys, today I will be.
Yeah, okay.
You can see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, so today I'll be talking about Max Payne. I know this has been used, very widely by people, but nobody knows, like what is the real use of this Max Payne, and not many people also know how this is calculated. So I'll go a little bit about the theory behind the Max Payne and how it could be used or not used. So let's go. So the standard disclaimer. So according to the Max Payne theory, and this Max Payne theory is a quite new phenomenon. It was, I think, around in 2000s, early 2000s. This has been put forward, this theory. Before that, there was nothing about the theory, and even now also there is no, academic research or something is happening on this Max Payne theory. So it's just a theory which just floating around. So according to Max Payne theory, Max Payne is that strike price at which the underlying price might close on expiry day in order to cause maximum pain, and that's why it's called max pain, to the option buyers and or cause least pain to the option sellers. So max pain is also referred by other names like options pain, maximum pain, option strike pegging, and there's some other names. Now what is the max pain theory? Now it follows certain assumptions. It based on following assumptions that options trading is a zero sum game, and therefore at any time point either option seller or option buyer is making money, right? Both cannot make money for for the same strike price or for the same market. A majority, and this number is not a fixed number. Some people say 70 or 90. That a majority of options expire worthless, and therefore option writers on a whole makes more money than option buyers, right? So because the majority of them are expiring worthless, so it's obvious that the option sellers or option writers are making more money. So if option sellers are making more money, then they will move the underlying price to a particular price point where they lose the least amount of money, right? Because we are assuming that option writers are making more money, so they might have some kind of pricing power through the underlying price action to move it to a particular price point where they lose least amount of money on the options they write, right? Or the options they sell. So that is the assumption here. So if such a price point exists, or if they are able to move to a particular price point, how can one arrive at that particular point where there is least pain for the option sellers and maximum pain to the option buyers, right? So that is how one has to arrive at this maximum pain point, and this is our max pain. So let's look at max pain calculations. So we make it into 5 different steps, so it's easy to do that way. So we have to take all the strike prices of and their call and put open interest of any given underlying. It could be Nifty, stock, bank Nifty, and for a given expiry contract. So the max pain is specific to a given particular contract. So for example, here we have to take open interest of all the strikes of that, for example, 31 December 2020. Now we have to assume that underlying expires at any given strike price in the list. Okay. So we have to assume, like, if there are 10 strike prices, we have to assume that it could expire at 13,000, it could expire at 12,500. So we have to assume that it can expire at any particular strike price, and then based on assumption we have to calculate the max pain. Now compute the amount lost by call and put option writers at any given strike, assuming underlying expires close to that strike. Okay, so let's say the market, or in this case Nifty, expires at 13,000. Then what we have to do is that we have to calculate what is the loss made by the option writers for the put options as well as call options at all other strike prices, right? If we are assuming that it is closing at 13,000, so that will be the loss that made if the market closes at 13,000 strike price. Now we have to sum up of all the money lost by call and put option writers at each strike price and plot the bar chart. So now here I said we take the example of 13,000 and we calculate how much the option writers lose if it expires at 13,000. And same way, we have to do that for all the strike prices. And then we have to plot a bar chart. Okay. So the max pain will be the strike price at which the option writers lose the least. Based on this bar chart, we determine at what strike price there is the least pain for the options writers. So let's take an example and see how it is calculated. So now here I took a expiry of 3rd December, which is the closest one. So now here is I only took 5 option strikes, so it is easy to demonstrate. But ideally we have to take all the strike prices for this expiry to calculate the max pain. Now assume that we have only 5 strike prices, and these are the put open interest and call open interest. These are the real numbers. Now, assuming that the underlying expires at 13,000. So let's say the Nifty expires at 13,000, right? Now let's calculate what is the loss for the call writers and put writers. So now if it expires at 13,000, okay. So what is the loss for the call writers? 12,800 call writers. It's 200 points, right? So the loss will happen for the option writers. Loss will happen in only those strikes which are in the money. For out of the money strikes, there is no loss for them. Only for in the money strikes, there is loss for the option writers. Okay. So let's look at the call writers. For 12,800 call, right? If it expires at 13,000, it is 200 points in the money. So they will lose 200 points. So if they lose 200 points and the number of contracts for 12,800 call is 10,480. So 10,480 multiplied by lot size multiplied by the loss number of points that are lost. So if you do all this multiplication, you get 15.72 crores. Okay, that is the amount that will be lost by option writers, call option writers, if the market closes at 13,000. Okay. Now, what will happen for the 12,900 call writers? They will lose 100 points. And based on the open interest, if you do the calculation, they will lose 18.87 crores. Okay. And if it expires at 13,000 price, underlying price, so the 13,000 call option writers, 13,100 call option writers, 13,200 call option writers, they will not lose money because they are all out of the money at this point of time, right? So there is zero loss for the call writers for these 3 strike prices. They lose only 12,800 and 12,900. So if we add these two numbers, is the amount of the loss from the calls for the option sellers, and similarly loss for the put writers. Now, as I said, only in the money strike prices, for the in the money strike prices, the option sellers lose the amount. So for 13,200 call, 200 put, they lose 200 points, right? We are saying that it is expiring at 13,000 price. So 200 points, and then you calculate with the open interest 2063, you get 3 crores. And same with 13,100, they lose 100 points, and you calculate, you get 4.36 crores. So here they lose around 7 crores, right? 7.45 crores. So if you add both of them together, they lose 42 crores if the Nifty expires at 13,000 on expiry on 3rd December, right? Now the same way we have to calculate for 2,800. So if it closes at 2,800, what will be the loss for all the strike prices for these four, for the put option as well as call option. And if you do that, and this is the total loss you get for all these strike prices. So if it closes at 12,800, they lose 92 crores. And if it closes at 12,900, they'll lose 44 crores. And 42 for 13,000. And if it closes as 13,100, they lose 95 crores. And if it closes at 13,200, they lose 179 crores. Right? So this is how we calculate what is the loss for the option writers at different strike prices. If the market closes at different strike prices. Of course, here we are assuming only that it's at a perfect price, but it can be 13,250 or something. So to adjust the calculations accordingly. Here I took round figure. So now if we chart, So if we put this into a bar chart, these total loss for the option sellers. Okay, we put this in the bar chart and we see where is the maximum pain for the option buyers or the least pain for the option sellers. So 13,000 strike price is the least loss to writers at 13,000 strike price, and it is a maximum pain for the option buyers. So according to our calculations, 13,000 will be the maximum pain. That will be the max pain. So now here we used only 5 strike prices, right? But ideally we have to use for total all the strike prices. All the strike prices we have to use. Okay. So you have to calculate for all of them to arrive at the correct max price. So if you go and check in the open interest page on the Opstra, it is saying based on the calculating all these strike prices, it is saying that 12,950 is the max pain. Okay, that is where the option writers will lose the least. Okay.
This is for the weekly expiry,
and,
right? Weekly.
Yes, this is the weekly expiry.
Yeah.
And we also have something called modified max pain. So what we do in the modified max pain is that instead of taking all the strike prices, we take only 5 strike prices with the maximum open interest. Okay, so that is the logic behind the modified max pain. The max pain, it moves quite slowly with the price action, while the modified max pain moves much faster close to the price action of the underlying. That's the difference between these two. Now coming back to this, so that is how we calculate the max pain. Now, so how we can use this max pain? Now, first of all, max pain is dynamic. It's not fixed. Like if it's today we saw that it's at 12,950 on the open interest page. 12,950 is a max pain, right? Now it is dynamic. It's not a fixed price, right? It is dynamic and it can change. So it changes along with the price action in the market throughout the expiry. Now, the max pain has more value closer to expiry than far away from expiry. So as we get close to expiry, the max pain doesn't move much, right? Like if you are far away from the expiry, it can change much more than it stays fixed when it closer to expiry. So it has more value closer to expiry than far away from expiry. Now, max pain closer to expiry can be used as most likely price point where the market or underlying might expire. Okay, I should not use will, but it's might expire. So maybe you can use around 10 days or something like that as a cutoff point where we can use max pain. The price point closer to max pain is where the market might close at that point of expiry. Okay. Now the max pain should be used only as a secondary confirmation indicator for trading. Some people some people keep asking me that how we can use this max pain as for trading. And I keep saying that you should not use as a primary indicator for your trading. Should only be used as secondary confirmation indicator for trading. Like you have some other system where it is saying that it might close at this point at expiry. Then you can use max pain to confirm that signal, and then you use that for trading. So don't use max pain alone for the trading. That's the only thing I will say on the max pain. So that is how you calculate your max pain, and that is the theory. I explained the theory behind max pain, what are the assumptions behind the max pain, and why option sellers might use a particular point, a price point, to make market expire at that particular price point, because they want to take least pain for their option writing. And assuming that option writers are as a powerful or a smart group who can move the market to that particular price point so as to take least pain and gain maximum for their option writing business. So use this information however you try to fit it in your trading, and I've already gave all the pointers that are necessary. So that is all from me, AP. If you have no questions.
Just one thing. For some reason, I had started following Max Pain almost 10 years back, but
Yeah.
it worked very well, beautifully for the first few years. Then this theory became popular. Have you seen that it is working less now? Because I definitely have seen that it works less now because it is dynamic, like you said, and it changes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
earlier, let's say you got a Max Pain 10 days. First of all, there was no weekly expiry that time, and it used to work well in stocks also. So even
Yeah.
if you had a max pain, let's say 10 days before expiry, it acted that way on expiry day. Whereas nowadays, one first is because of weekly expiry, the things are more dynamic, and
Yes.
the max pain also changes more because too many people are following it. Is that possible?
Uh, I'm not sure that if too many people, it's not stopped working because too many people are using. But I would say that now markets are more volatile. That is the
Hmm.
main reason behind max pain changing so much. If the volatility is much lesser, you would not see so much changes, in the max pain, and market, staying within ranges, and max pain can act as act as a magnet
Yeah,
around which the market moves. But now what is happening is that there is too much volatility, and it is not giving the option writers or the option sellers much time to you know to pin any particular strike price, so that to make it expire at that particular strike price. So that's why
yeah.
you might feel that it is not working as good as it used to work earlier. I mean, that's the
Hmm.
only point I can think of. But as
In
I
fact,
said,
I remember one
yeah.
classic example which happened in 2013.
Mm,
That of course finally came to be known as the Raghuram Rajan bottom, which was at 5118 Nifty. I still remember the level. But before
yeah.
that, Nifty was going down continuously from something like 5700. And 2 days before expiry, it made a low of 5118. Just 2 days before expiry, whatever was
Yeah.
the August 2013 expiry. I think it was 27th August. I don't remember that date clearly. And from 5118, when it made a low, I just checked the max pin, that was still 5400.
Yes.
That was a huge change. I mean, huge difference between the actual price and the max pin. And in the next 2 days, Nifty went up from 5118 all the way back to 5400 in just 2 days. So
Yes.
that was some place where I found Max Pain to work beautifully. That is not
Yes.
something which I find now. Of course, I have stopped
That's true.
tracking it, to be honest.
No, that's true. Actually, if there is huge divergence, then it is indicating that, I mean, they're staying put. Option writers are staying put. That, it is going to come back to that particular point. So if there is huge divergence means, they're saying that, okay, we are going to move it back to that particular point. But now what is happening is that, if the market moves very wildly, then even option sellers are giving up and they're covering their positions. And once they cover their positions, it means the max pain has to move to the new strike price.
Right.
So if the
Is there
option writer, yeah. So
yeah,
if the
is
option
there any
writers are,
way? I mean, yeah. Sorry, you complete.
so if the option writers are, stubborn, then you will see that huge divergence between the price and the max pain. And if that sustains, if that divergence sustains, then it is more likely that market might expire close to that max pain price. But
Right.
I mean, actually, I mean, we have one chart in the futures intraday chart. If you look, let it load. Now, if you look at the max pain, we have this tracking of this.
Yeah.
So here is the price of the
Underlying.
Nifty, and here is the max pain. This dark
Yeah.
green line, right? So there is
Correct.
divergence at some point, and then they will converge at some point. At expiry, of course, they have to converge.
Yeah.
But you see the divergence, and if there is a huge divergence, then you might see that it has to come back to at some point to that particular max pain. But this divergence has to be huge, not like 200 points or something like that.
Correct.
More like 300, 400 points. Then you will see that that there might be some strong reversal. But right now, it's pretty much following the price action. So you will not see much. Max pain might not work strongly.
Yeah.
And that is why I say that you should wait close to expiry. Then only it will work much better than far away from expiry. So yeah.
Okay. Is there any way to find out how price and max pain have behaved over the last few expiries, weekly or monthly?
Yeah, I mean, you can use this chart, for example, here.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah.
Here only
From the
itself you
historical
can,
chart.
yeah, visually you can check like, what is happening.
Right.
But yeah, it will be interesting to see if we can do backtesting and see whether it works or not.
So
That
we'll
will
have to
be,
pinpoint Thursdays on this chart and just see how it has behaved from, let's say, Monday second half to Thursday, something like that.
yeah, something like that. Yeah. Maybe I'll do this backtest and see whether it
Yeah, that
works
will be an
in
interesting
reality.
study.
Yeah, maybe for
So
next
Monday
week we
second half
can.
to Thursday. So basically, the Monday second half to Thursday 3:30. That
Yeah,
should be the backtest, I think.
yeah, I can check this. I can check this. Yeah,
Yeah.
that will be
Okay. That will
interesting.
be a very interesting result.
Yeah, maybe then we can see whether it really works or not.
But of course, like I said, it used to work very beautifully, maybe more than 5 years back, but then it stopped working. And to be honest, I have stopped tracking it. But who knows if it is really working? Maybe 3 times out of 5, it's still worthwhile to track it. Why not?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So nice discussion on Max Payne this weekend. Something definitely new for a lot of people, and I hope everyone liked it. And that's all from our side this time. Thank you for listening. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.